An extraordinary gem. 10 years ago, a Filipino fisherman was lucky enough to get a pearl weighing 34 kilograms from the sea. A fisherman's anchor stuck on the rocks near the island of Palawan. Freeing the anchor, he found a huge clam, and inside it was a pearl weighing 34 kilograms. For 10 years, the fisherman kept this treasure under his bed until a fire broke out in his house. He learned the value of his find when he tried to sell the pearl, but he did not even suspect that it could cost a fortune. And all this time he kept it just as a talisman at home. The giant pearl is now valued at $35 million. Whiskey 1917. A resident of St. Joseph, Missouri, suddenly discovered 13 bottles of whiskey dated 1917 in the attic of his house. According to Brian Fitt, he found bottles of the old liquor while sorting things out in the attic. According to Fitt, he and his wife purchased the house, built in the 1850s, not so long ago. To save money, the current owner of the home performs many repairs on his own. So, recently he was going to install a central air conditioning system, and in order to complete the task, he went to the attic. While sorting things out, Fitt discovered what at first seemed to him to be some kind of pipes. Then he realized that these were not pipes, but bottles. The American examined the find and found that the bottles contained whiskey made between 1912 and 1913 and packaged in 1917. Experts estimated the treasure at $2.6 million. The lucky man said that he would not sell all the bottles, but was going to drink a couple of bottles with friends. Another unique find. George and Betty Davis from New York were sorting through the rubbish in the attic and found a human figurine that they thought was valuable. It turned out that this is a rare Faberge stone-cutting figurine, created by order of Nicholas II. Stone-cut figurines of the Faberge jewelry house are second in value after Faberge Easter eggs. As you know, only 50 stone-cut figurines of people were made by Faberge, so they are extremely rare. And figurines depicting famous historical figures are even more valuable. This figurine is, in a way, a mini sculpture of Nikolai Nikolaevich Pustinikov, a Cossack who was a devoted personal bodyguard of the wife of the Russian Tsar Nicholas II, Empress Alexandra Fyodorovna. The figurine was presented to the Empress in 1912, and after the revolution fell into the hands of an American businessman, born in a family of emigrants from Russia, Armand Hammer. In the 1930s, the Hammer Exhibition Gallery was opened, where some of Hammer's works of art were sold. Among them was a Faberge figurine depicting Nikolai Pustinikov. George Davis bought the figurine in 1934 for $2,250, but its fate was lost for many decades until it was discovered in the attic by George and Betty Davis. The figurine went under the hammer at an auction for $5.2 million. A resident of Indiana bought several pieces of used furniture and an old painting with flowers at a vintage flea market. He paid about $30 for everything. When he brought new clothes home, he immediately began to hang the acquired painting on the wall in order to close the hole in the wall, which was an eyesore to him, as he thought the picture was painted by some street artist. A few years later, while playing a table auction, a man discovered a card with an image of exactly the same picture. He began searching the internet for information and found that a painting he had bought a few years ago was very similar in style to the work of Martin Johnson Head, an American naturalist known for his landscapes and still lifes. Then he contacted representatives of the Edward Kennedy Art Gallery in Manhattan, where many of Head's works are kept, and asked them to take a look at his painting. The expert confirmed that the lucky man became the owner of a previously little-known painting by Martin Johnson Head called Magnolias on Golden Velvet. The masterpiece was valued at $1.2 million. In 2018, during the construction of the D35 motorway in eastern Bohemia, builders discovered a wooden structure under a layer of soil. As it turned out, it was an ancient wooden blockhouse of an early Neolithic well. Due to the fact that the structure was below the groundwater level, it is quite well preserved. Ancient wooden structures are poorly preserved, so each such find is an event for archaeologists. When all the necessary studies were carried out, scientists realized that this was the most unique find, or rather the oldest wooden structure ever found. The well, which is more than 5,000 years old. The well has a square shape measuring 80 by 80 centimeters, and the height of the building is 140 centimeters. Four corrugated oak pillars are dug into its corners. The walls of the well are reinforced with flatboards inserted between the pillars with traces of processing with polished stone tools. The boards are made of oak and hazel, which indicates the composition of the local forests of that time. A hoard of Roman coins found in Great Britain. This treasure was found by an amateur treasure hunter at a depth of only 30 centimeters, under a layer of earth. The hoard was a large clay jug, which contained 160 kilograms of ancient Roman coins. All coins are minted from bronze and silver, but their price is in no way inferior to gold coins. As historians have suggested, this jug with ancient coins was intended as a tribute to the gods. This treasure was discovered by the British treasure hunter David Chrysop. In a clay vessel there were 52,500 coins of the 3rd century AD. Chrysop discovered the treasure with a metal detector, a hobby he has been devoted to for 20 years. After the official transfer of the treasure to the authorities, Chrysop and the owner of the land on which the treasure was found received half the amount of the value of this treasure. Out of more than 50,000 coins found by Chrysop, 766 coins were minted during the reign of Carausius, the commander who commanded the Roman fleet and fought with German pirates in the English Channel, and then rebelled against Emperor Maximian and proclaimed himself Emperor of Britain. Demonstrating his independence from Rome, Carausius began to mint his own coin. These coins are very rare, and their price is hundreds of thousands of dollars per unit. Another story of sudden wealth happened to collector Kevin Costiner. According to the collector, at the auction he bought several boxes of documents for $75, which the California State Academy of Sciences in San Francisco disposed of as unnecessary. Under a pile of papers at the very bottom of one box, he found a copy of the Declaration of Independence. After making inquiries, Kevin made sure that he became the owner of a real treasure. "I like to collect and hunt for valuables," said the collector. A copy of the United States Declaration of Independence turned out to be one of 24 remaining copies of the 1776 original. As soon as the public became aware of his luck, the collector was immediately offered $35,000 for an old piece of paper, but he is in no hurry to part with his find, assuming that there will be a buyer who will lay out a much larger amount. A resident of the city of Middlesbrough from the UK, Chris Scott, accidentally discovered an abandoned bunker in his own garden. As experts later found out, the building was built during the Second World War. The man was working on the site when he came across an old drain cover. Picking it up, Scott saw a real concrete bomb shelter with 2 rooms and an emergency exit. The underground shelter is capitally made and can quite cope with its tasks even after more than 70 years after construction. There are many electrical appliances and switches left in the underground room. In one of the rooms there was a large table covered with dust and the touch of time. The shelter was designed for about 100 people. According to Scott, neighbors told him that a bunker was built somewhere nearby during the war years. But he did not suspect that the shelter was right under his feet. Well, that's all for today. Thank you all for watching. If it was interesting, support the video with likes. Thank you for subscribing, and take a look at what else we have prepared for you.